Anyway, ahoy me temper scorpions. I thought, we'll just finish the tower run mod. I figured, let me do a tutorial on which places are the best to go defeat mobs. I figured it's a problem with some people. They don't know which spots are really the best spots to go to defeat mobs. So I thought, let me make a tutorial for you guys to show you guys which places are the best to go defeat mobs. Now, the obvious spot, I'm pretty sure most people probably know, would be Cow. Now, just for the tutorial sake, I'm going to play this on 20, because 25 plus is... Okay, 25 plus is still easy for me, to be fair, but I'm going to do it for the tutorial sake, I'm doing this on 20. Since most people will typically be on 20 now, when they're probably looking at this VOD. So, let's load in to the first area. It is the Cow level. Most Diablo fans will know this is a popular level, but this is the Cow level. A pretty big level. Pretty easy to do. Simple. All you do is eat a bunch of cows. And I'm using the Resolve Tempest Knife that we earned from the last tower. See? Doing a lot of damage. Oh man, my armor's coming such handy. Oh, boys, I'll show my build after we do this, but this is one of the locations you can come to that is great for, you know, just grinding mobs out. Since cows spawn in large quantities on the later apocalypse levels, the later apocalypse levels, this place gets crowded like crazy. Just be careful not to get overwhelmed with enchanted mobs, because enchanted mobs do have a big chance to spawn here. Especially on the more higher difficulty. Do remember to pick up your flags. Flags do increase the amount of mob count for the encampments you find for the captains. So this is a great place to come grind for some emeralds too if you would like to grind emeralds. But either way, this is the first area you can come to. Pretty simple. Not that hard to beat. You see, just rolling with the Tempest Knife and just slaughtering through hundreds of mobs pretty quickly. And the map is relatively small, so you can do this pretty quickly though. So that's a recommendation of the artifacts you should keep on you is a gong, a deathcap mushroom, and speed boots. But if you're feeling a little less tanky, you can always roll with the soul, one of the soul charms, the soul healer. It automatically has its own soul gathering built-in, so you don't have to worry, you don't have to wear a soul weapon to use it. This is also a great place to come grind adventure points, but either way, let's move on to the next location. Alright boys, I just got done finishing that cow level, and we were about 511 mobs. I didn't clear the whole map, but pretty much just from me just running through that one corner of an area, and basically just, you know, just running through and killing mobs all the way to the boss, I got all the way till 844 mobs. So basically, I killed about 333 mobs just right there. Just there alone. So that's one of the great spots to go to when you want to grind some good old-fashioned mobs. But otherwise, move on to the next area. Okay, next area is pretty much located at Lower Temple. Lower Temple is also another great place to come grind for emeralds in general, but also a great place to come grind for mobs. Because there's both large quantity of mobs down here, especially on 25 plus. Again, number of the recommended artifacts I did mention earlier. Do keep yourself a death cap, gong. Especially for these cases, where the necromancers kind of like constantly stack up. It's a bit of an annoying map to beat, especially when you don't have the range to deal with these guys. But once you do have the range to deal with these boys, there are like plenty of mobs that spawn in this area. The map is relatively big, so it's a great place to come grind for mobs. You see, look at all the large quantity of skeletons that spawn down here. Spiders, skeletons. I don't think creepers spawn down here. I have never really seen creepers, except on dailies down here to spawn, but mainly you're just gonna fight skeletons, necromancers, zombies. Just mainly mostly undead mobs, so it might be a good idea to bring a grave vein down here to deal with these type of mobs. I'm still using the Tempest Resolve knife, but either way, as a recommendation, maybe bring a grave vein down here. Great for dealing with the undead mobs. But still, large quantity of mobs, a lot of loot down here. So if you want to loot and mob kills, this is one of the better places to come take out mobs. But either way, boys, I'm going to quickly finish this, and I'll show you guys the results when I'm done. All right, boys, I am back. As you could see, we were at 844. Now we're on 1,113. So if I did my calculations math correctly, we killed around, let's see, it was 800, so it's 200, that makes 1,000. I don't know, an extra 100, so it's about 313. 303, a little less mobs because I then went around in the other corridors and down the secret under basement. But we got roughly about 300 mobs there. So that's another great place to go grind for mobs in general. Also, I finished the shockwave thing, so pretty much done with that. No other things. Alright, boys. I'll catch you guys on the next thing after I'm done claiming some stuff and moving on to the next. Alright, boys. Here's the next area, which is called Creepy Crypts. Creepy Crypts is another good area to go grind for mobs in general. And also, if you're a soul weapon user, there's plenty of soul weaponry that drops here. So in general, you're gonna find pretty much the weapons you're looking for and plenty of mobs to slay. Just a warning, this place does come a maze after a little bit, but once you get through the maze, it's a pretty much a buffet of monsters just everywhere. Look at the size of this place. This place is massive. Just be warned, this place is full of creepers, though. Creepers and wraiths, mostly, but you're mainly going to be dealing with undead mobs a good portion of the dungeon. So a Gravebane will be recommended bringing here, because you're mainly going to deal with wraiths, skeleton zombies. But creepers are not a big deal, and the Gravebane has big range on it, so you have a win of both worlds. Also, you probably noticed I changed up my artifacts a little bit. I changed up the soul healer for the speed boots. Speed boots is great, especially when you're dealing with big dungeons like this. So, as a recommendation, bring some speed boots with. Boots of swiftness, as it's referred to. It was a real name. But otherwise, this is also another great place to come. As you can see, the map is ginormous. So, you know, big maps equal to many mobs. Okay, there's a lot of creepers in here, but this is called Creepy Crypt, so it lives up to its name. So be warned, this place is full of creepers, so if you're not feeling well with creepers, I maybe urge you to maybe get Guarding Strike or Protection, or Potion Barrier. Those two enchants will greatly increase your chances of survival in this place. But otherwise, this is another good place to come grind. You guys know the drill. I'm gonna quickly go run through this dungeon quickly, as fast as I can, and I'll show you guys the results afterward. Alright, okay boys, I'm back after that little run. It took me actually a little bit more time than normally, but we roughly came out again with roughly around 300 mobs. 63 mobs? 363 mobs. That is surprisingly more. The reason it's more is because I was literally kind of lost and I was just slaying mobs left and right. But either way, I came out with a massive amount of more mobs. Still, we could probably earn more mobs from the cow level and more quicker pace, as the cow level is just a straight run back and forth, and you can basically also instant kill the boss there with the good old-fashioned fighter's bindings glitch. But either way, that's another fun I'll show you guys how to do. But either way, this is the whole big old deal. I think that's most of the top 3 locations I kind of want to show off. The other locations, they are great. Stronghold might be also another great place to go to. Obsidian Pinnacle, also another great place to go to. Again, I only showed off these areas to give you guys a basic spectrum, which places you can go, which places you should not go. I'll just play this mod so I can give you guys a little bit of an idea where you should go. Cal level if you just want to do quick runs. Cal level, purely just for quick runs. 100% just for quick runs. If you're after loot and you just want to make emeralds, go for Lower Temple. Lower Temple is a great place to go. Lots of space. It's pretty big, but still manageable, still quick. But otherwise, if you want to take things slow and you just want to get more quantity for taking more time, go for Creeper Crypt. Creepy Crypt or Stronghold. Well, it's a pretty big map. I think it's even bigger than Creepy Crypt. But either way, those are the two. Okay, baseline. Let me also show off a bit of DLC areas you could probably go to. Let's see. I don't think there's any real good place in jungle though, but you could maybe go for Overgrowth Temple, but then you have to fight a boss constantly. Another great place here would be Radiant Rave. Radiant Rave. Don't go Radiant Abyssal Monument because Abyssal Monument you have to go through a lot of jumps and a lot of like jumping areas. So go for Radiant Rave. Ravine, I mean. Another great place over here would be Lost Settlement. And then another good place over here. Let's say if you have the secret area unlocked, Colossal Rampart would be one of them. And Gauntlet of Gales. They are pretty much, I wouldn't recommend going there. Like, you can hear the unconfidence in my voice not to go there. The reason is because there's a lot of traps, a lot of puzzles you have to go through. But if you're a guy who loves doing puzzles constantly over and over, be my guest. Go for Gauntlet of Gales or Colossal Rampart. Now for the other dimensions. Not very 100% sure. I wouldn't go Basalt Deltas. It's just terrible. Don't go there. You could probably go Soul Sand Valley. And let's see. What's the other place? Crimson Forest and both of the forests. You can go there and here. You're going to deal with the wildfire a lot. But either way, these are the great places to go for. The end, I would not really recommend 100% to go for here. Unless you like a guy who loves jumping around over ledges and have like the adrenaline junkie. And you could probably go to the end. But again, I wouldn't urge you guys, if it's for efficiency, do not come here. It's not really worth coming here. So, yeah, unless you're after the end loot, then by all means, come here. You're never going to come to the end wilds after you've done Stronghold anyway, so... Stronghold is probably, out of the 2 slower dungeons you can do, Stronghold is practically the longest to do. Because literally, you go through here, you take up the end portal, and you go straight to the end wilds. And you basically do this whole map to finish this map. So, out of the two places, I would pick on the default map, not to go to if you just want to do one straight level. Just do Creepy Crypts. It's a slow map, but it's better than having to go through one map and then all the way through another map. So, as a perspective, just do Creepy Crypts. It's much better there in the long run. But either way, boys, I should probably show you guys some bit of gear that I recommend you guys should roll with. Okay, so let's go to the old-fashioned storage chest. But first, let's view my general build I use for the tutorial now. I use the Temper's Resolve. Okay, I know it's a 263 gilded. I know, I just got it from the tower run. I know. But this is one of the weapons I would recommend going for. Because it has committed, and it has speed burst on it, so... getting through those larger maps quicker is much appreciated. In charge, I would recommend going... I wouldn't necessarily go for Radiance. Even though Radiance give like a big mass AoE heal along with people. You're playing along with people. But otherwise, I wouldn't recommend this fully. I would just go for Leeching instead. I didn't have Leeching on this. Leeching was here. It was between crit and Leeching. I went with crit. But yes, crit is not any chance you want to go with when it comes to these type of weapons, or any weapon in general. But for the recommended weapons, go for crit. Shockwave, definitely for those mobs that constantly knock you back. At least you will have something to shoot back at them through your weapon and at least deal with it. Alright, another good weapon I would recommend would be the good old-fashioned Cursed Axe. Cursed Axe is one of the best weapons in the game. Hands down. I don't care what anyone says. Hands down, this is one of the best weapons in the game. because it has explosive on it. Basically, when you kill mobs, they explode. Basically, big AoE already on the weapon, but more bigger their AoE from just generally just killing monsters. Let me see. Let me show you guys a good example from a actual curse axe. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Another good example for a good curse axe. You could go committed if you don't have Void Strike, but either way, this is another good example for a good weapon that you can use for your mob slaying spree. Guys, it has Void Strike, they have to go for Echo, 100% go for it if you have it. But otherwise, if it comes to crit, just go for crit. But either way, go for Echo. Echo gives you that extra swing for the extra hit. Safety, 100%. If you have Leeching and Radiance at the same slot, go for Leeching. Unless you're a group healer, then go for Radiance. But Radiance been nerfed, so go for Leeching. Leeching is the best. I'm telling you now, it's the best for healing. Especially when you're killing mobs at rates that you are. This will keep you alive. Alright, another good weapon. Okay, this is... Okay, no. This is actually another good weapon that is slow. Don't get me wrong. It is slow. It's very slow. But it's well worth it. I don't think this is a modern one. No, it's not a modern one. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like modded. I do have a lot of modded stuff in my chest for testing purposes, but I don't think this is modded. But either way, Cursed Encrusted Anchor, also another weapon. Very slow, but once you get rampaging on it and a bit of crit and a bit of healing, boom, you have for yourself another banging massive AoE damage. Again, absorb some knockback, so when those pesky necromancers shoot you, you at least have some resistance. Okay, now for my soul users. For my soul users, I would recommend going for the Eternal Knife. I know for some people this knife is a bit short range, but it is a great weapon for souls. And especially when you have the correct enchants on it, it is a much powerful weapon to use for soul users. Especially for soul users. Another great soul weapon would be the Jailer's Scythe. It helps for crowd control mostly. It's mainly just there for crowd control. For the little line chains. It stops some mobs from like countering you. Let's see. What other great soul weapons do I have I can show you guys that is good for the generally. Moon Daggers. Okay, obviously I know these Moon Daggers are modded. Probably heavily modded Moon Daggers. But Moon Daggers in general are pretty good. They have Soul Critical on them. I actually forgot what the actual name was for it. Do let me know in the comments what it is. But either way, it has Soul Crit on it. So if you get more crit on it, it's basically a massive destruction damage. And it's deal wield, so it's pretty fast. And it gives you 2 souls per a kill. So for your soul users, your soul harvester is gonna fucking constantly blast. Especially when you have some high cooldown armor on. That's also another great thing you can use for killing mobs generally faster is cooldown armor. Not multi-cooldown armor, since cooldown armor has been nerfed. You know how it is. Alright, now for my rangy boys. Butterfly Crossbow would be another good one. Because it has the bonus shot on it. And if you have chain reaction on it, with a bit of explosive arrows. Chef's Kiss, it is the best you can have when it comes to speed, high rate firing. Or if you're much of the guy that's the patient guy and loves to plan his shots out, Elite Power Bow would be also another great one. Massive damage, and when you charge it more, it does more damage. Especially when you have overcharge on it, it does a lot of damage. Especially with explosive shot. This one actually has explosive shot on it, and it does crazy damage. Especially with Void Strike. Again, get Void Strike on your weapons. It is well worth it if you can't get committed. But if you can get them both, it is literally the God-sended weapon. Alright, let's see. Another good weapon would be Stormlander for more early game. Late game, this weapon is pretty much not that well, really. It's more for late game. For late game. Alright, for a little bit more advice towards the more the Obsidian Pinnacle level, I would recommend maybe getting Illager's Bane. So you can get through the Illagers pretty much quicker, faster through it. So you don't deal with constantly struggling to get through them. So Illager's Bane is another thing I recommend you getting for your weapons if you're going for that type of area of grind. Let's see. We have covered range bases. We have covered some melee weapons that you guys can use. What about armor? Armor, depending on your position in the game, depending on what level you are, you obviously want to be more tanky or more damage. If you want to go for tanky, I would recommend full metal armor. It's great. It gives massive damage reduction, massive damage resistance, I mean. Also, full metal armor gives you a 30% damage boost. So if you're using heavy melee most of the time, this armor will be your best. Okay, I don't really have good enchants on these ones, but I would recommend going protection, final shout, chilling, thorns, deflect. Those are mostly the rough enchants you want to go with this armor. All right, now for more of my damage, boys, renegade armor would be another good armor to go with because it gives you that nice 20% boost of damage aura. Not as much as the plate armor is giving, but at least in this armor, you can dodge roll. You can roll around without suffering the massive penalty of 100% increased cooldown. This armor will be more likely for you. Same enchants basically you want to go with. Protection, final shout. Oh, another one, or could be good, is potion barrier. Potion barrier is great for, especially when you're dealing with creepers. Very big. Very big. But otherwise, if you're more of a dodgy type and you're more risky, you could go this too. Oh, what is it called? Wait. Let me just check the enchant, boys. You see, guys, I'm a little bit unprepared for this. Reckless. So if you're a guy that knows his dodging and you know for a fact you can kill monsters faster than they can hurt you, recklessness you can go with, but I wouldn't recommend it for experienced players. Trust me, I've seen a lot of people wear this enchant and they regretted it till the day they died in the character. But otherwise, another good armor that would be great from farming would be Grim Armor. Grim Armor or Weather Armor would be great because it gives you that lifesteal aura. So in case you don't have any lifesteal on your or healing on your weapons, this armor will do for you. It will cover you on the healing, especially when you're playing as a soul build. You get extra souls out of it. So it's a win for both worlds. So if you're not much of a soul player, but you just want the healing will cover you pretty much. Now, if you're feeling like you're getting overwhelmed constantly, Beehive or Bee Armor in general will be great. Damage reduction, and when you drink potions, you heal allies. So this is more like a support armor, but also kind of a tank armor too. Because you have a 30% chance to summon bees. Okay, now the special part of bees is bees instant attract aggro. They just pull aggro in. They are like the pinnacle of enrage anger. So mobs will most likely go for the bees instead of going for you, unless you're wearing hero's armor or champion's armor. Then there's a reverse roll going. But otherwise, beehive armor is another good choice to go with. Let's see. Give it another armor. Splendid robes. Splendid robes is also great, especially when you're using your artifacts a lot. This is freaking good to have, especially when you're a melee hybrid build that uses artifacts and your melee most of your time. This will do you 100% good. It has a decently buffed armor. It gives you same damage boost as the full metal armor does, except you lose the damage reduction. But who cares when you have artifact cooldown? Your artifacts are gonna reset faster or quicker. So obviously you could probably just go with Iron Knight Amulet or something like that, just to give you the damage reduction. So either way, it's a win-win-win situation. Now for my distant boys, my boys that love to keep their distance a little bit fairly away and they don't like taking a lot of damage. Whispering Spear could be a nice, good choice for you, depending on your opinion on it. This is a very rare item to get a hand on. From my experience, you're probably not hearing me surprised over it. But either way, what I'm saying is this is a rare item to get a hand on. But once you do get a hand on it, it's a great weapon to use for long range shooting. Long range shooting? I mean long range hitting. Another range weapon would be the glowing staff. Oh my gosh, the glowing staff is a very popular weapon among some people. I wouldn't rate it very high personally, since I've never really used it a lot. But either way, this is another good weapon you can get, because it has committed built into it. And if you get the lucky roll in enchants and you get crit or void strike on it, it would be a god staff pretty much quick. Now, for my event users, for my event weapon users, there's not really much of selection for me at this current moment, even though I have thousands of weapons selective. Road Slayer would be another good weapon to use. It's basically just a great sword that's been reskinned, but either way, it's if you want to look like a bling bling bling, show off like bragging rights, this could be another good weapon to use. For the soul user boys, Skull Scythe, obviously Skull Scythe, because it has the slowness on it, pretty much good. Otherwise, I don't think there's anything else I can show you guys. Otherwise, Nightmare Bites could be another good weapon if you're a heavy poison user. 100% go with these. Do note they are a little... They're fast, but they're a little low on damage reduction. But they make up for the poison they obviously do. Especially with Void Strike that stacks with poison, which does massive damage. But otherwise, guys, I think that's mainly it. I think I've covered all the bases. Have I covered all the bases? Yes, I have. All the bases I've covered on how to go on best ways to go with defeating mobs. I've covered you guys on armor. I've covered you guys on places you should go. Artifacts I have not really covered on. Okay, I did cover kind of the artifacts one. Obviously, I said Death Cap Mushroom, Gong, Soul Healing Amulet if you're a little low and you just need to heal. You can also go Totem of Healing. Either way, that works too. But otherwise, I pretty much cover all you guys' bases. Otherwise, guys, happy hunting. Make sure to get those kills in so you can get your good old adventure points up and running. Otherwise, guys, have an awesome day further. Peace.